Alrighty guys, we're back for Apparent Azorius, and this is a Foundation Standard Brew, and I'm Redcat. Let's briefly go over the deck, then hop right into some ranked. We got 20 Hare Apparent. Now a deck can have any number of cards named Hare Apparent. Okay, it's a 2-mana 2/2. When this creature enters, create a number of 1/1 white rabbit creature tokens equal to the number of other creatures you control named Hare Apparent. So we're going to be pairing that beautiful ETB effect with Raise the Past. It's a 4-mana sorcery. Return all creature cards with mana value 2 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. Nice. If I had 4 of them, I'd probably play with 4. However, playing with 3 also works because we have a Dewdrop Cure packed in as a 1-of. Just a 3-mana sorcery. You can gift a card, return up to 2 target creature cards each with mana value 2 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. Now, if the gift was promised, it's 3 from the graveyard instead of just the 2. So, not half bad, huh? But there's going to be ways to get the Hare Apparent into the graveyard, like some mill with the Archaeologist here. It's a 2-mana 0/3. When it enters, you mill 3 cards. You put a non-creature, non-land card from among the milled cards into your hand. If you don't, you put a +1/+1 counter on the Archaeologist, which of course is going to be great when we're trying to find the Raise the Past from the deck list as well. Other great cards to hit off the Archaeologist is actually some of our card draw. Caretaker's Talent making the cut as a 4-of. The card draw on the top ability, of course, is going to be huge when we are activating the Hare Apparent's ability to get those tokens, but then also acting as our main win condition too. As we're going wide with all those tokens, it's going to be great to buff all of them with the bottom level 3 ability creature tokens you control get +2/+2. Nice. Other ways to get the Hare Apparent into the grave, we have the Tale of Tamiyo. So, 3-mana legendary enchantment saga. For the first 3 chapters of this saga, mill 2 cards. If 2 cards that share a card type were milled this way, you draw a card and repeat this process. That's pretty interesting, honestly. Then, Chapter 4 of this saga, exile any number of target instant, sorcery, and or Tamiyo Planeswalker cards from your graveyard, copy them. You may cast any number of copies. So, similar concept to the Archaeologist, right? This is also going to be a great way to hit Raise the Past or something out of the graveyard. Then we got some emergency board wipes here with Day of Judgment making the cut as a 3-of. 4-mana, sorcery speed, destroy all creatures. Nice. Nice and clean, and of course we do not mind wiping our own board with the Hare Apparents because we plan on bringing them back eventually anyways. In the mana base, guys, all 4 Verge, we have all 4 Archives because the Surveil will obviously come in handy too. A couple Restless Anchorage and a couple Fountainports as well. Heavily leaning towards the Plains because that's what the deck is heavily leaning towards, obviously. Also rocking a Lupinflower Village because you never know if you're going to want to activate that ability. Look at the top 6 and grab a Bunny Rabbit, which you'll probably be able to hit a Hare Apparent since there's 20 of them in here. Honorable mentions. I thought about some other board wipes like Split Up. You know, early board wipes can be very important. Thought about some creatures to work well with the Hare Apparent ability like Delny. Enduring Innocence could be a more excellent card draw. Picklock Prankster could be a good way to get those Hare Apparents into the grave. Mondrak and Elish Norn could work really well with the Hare Apparent, but I think might be a little bit too expensive for what this deck list is trying to do, funny enough, right? And then Jace almost made the cut too. I think it would be excellent in here, honestly. Also thought about Mirex over the Fountainport, but maybe we just want both of these in here. I'm not really sure right now. Honorable mentions for a very good reason, guys. Hey, I do my D&Ds to save the more in-depth discussion for the end of the video, so look forward to that. In the meantime, let's go ahead and take this into some ranked and see how we do. All right, we'll see if we can get right into that first game. In the meantime, what am I expecting from the build? This should be super janky. Like, oh my goodness, janky. As long as we get 1 win today, I'll be happy. First of all, I like this hand. I don't mind this, right? Let's keep it. Opponent goes first with a Swamp. A Duress. No, my Day of Judgment. No. That's okay. That's okay. Let's get the Verge down. They drop a nice. Thank you. Thank you, opponent. Bandis Talent. Okay. We'll get rid of one of the Hare Apparents because, yeah, we do not mind having those in the grave. and we'll start with a Hare Apparent. We'll just drop a Hare Apparent every turn. We'll probably have to discard more cards here, though. They also want to clean these up with any amount of removal, too, but that's fine, as long as they hit the graveyard. The opponent is thinking. That is all good, opponent. Going to be a bitter triumph. They're going to take the 3. Caretaker's Talent. Okay. Hopefully they don't hit another duress, because the Caretaker's Talent would be a very good hit for them. They don't have the second black source on the board. Going to go for the cut down this time round. We do find our 3rd, and the Surveil should come in handy. There's a 4th if we want it, and I think we might want the 4th. All right, Hare Apparent number 3. Number 4, I guess, because we had to discard one earlier. That's the 3rd one we're playing, though. Liliana -2. That's going to be a problem, guys. Liliana lockdown is no joke. Right, so we should probably get multiple things down, and hopefully we can get the counter onto the Archaeologist. That way we have multiple creatures to potentially swing at the Liliana with next turn. So I think we'll start with the Archaeologist, see what happens here. We could take one of these, or we could just go for the counter. We should probably take one, though, guys. We probably should. Another talent. We're up against discard, and we're going to have to discard the other talent that's in our hand to the Liliana Plus. Now, the big issue here, though, is if they kill the Hare Apparent that's on the board, or get a chump blocker down, for that matter, too, right?
I'm tired of your secret.
So we end up discarding what we grabbed on the Archaeologist. More mana off the top. This is good, though. Restless Anchorage is a great way to get through, to hit the Liliana. We don't have to worry about the plus this time. Caretaker's Talent, no, nothing to grab with the level 2. However, we could get it closer to the level 3. I don't think that's actually worth it right now. All right, we're in danger. Our hand is empty. They can start powering up the Bandit's Talent. And we, no matter what, need to figure out how we're going to take care of this Liliana. Because next turn, we're not there yet. It's going to go to 3, then we can bring it down to 2 with the Anchorage. We will get some card draw here. Oh, nice, Hare Apparent. That's good. That's really good. Do we actually do that instead? If we play that, we can copy. We get card draw first. If we do this, the Liliana sticks around for an extra turn. Yeah, we do this, though. We do this. It was between that or swinging with the Restless Anchorage, but yeah, the card draw is so good. Now we get to play another Hare Apparent here, too. And then we can go ahead and plus the Caretaker's Talent, which we could also wait for next turn to continue the card draw, right? But, okay, nothing we can really do here, but the sacrifice on the Liliana is not great now, so... Phyrexian Arena, drawing them an extra card, and they have yet to power up the Bandit's Talent. Creature of the Schism, getting some good blockers down. If it's a -2, we'll probably actually ditch one of the Hare Apparents. Because, yeah, we want to eventually revive them from the grave, so that's fine. Keep a bunch of the 1/1s around. Alright, we're going down to 18 here. More mana isn't terrible. So what we'll start with then is Restless Anchorage. We could also, if we go for the Caretaker's Talent, we do have a pretty good full swing. Or we could just swing overhead and try a full swing next turn instead at their face. This lets us start with some card draw too, over anything else, and I think that's okay. How do you guys feel about that? Map token, card draw. Tale of Tamiyo. Okay, see, if we would have seen like another Hare Apparent going wide, with all the extra tokens, then boosting them next turn. We'll do the map token. I guess onto one of the 1/1s. See what we see here. It's going to be mana. Now we have options to discard, though, when it comes time. Since we can only imagine we're up against discard, right? So they drew off the arena. And they still didn't activate level 3 on the bandit's talent, which is good, because that would also be extra card draw. Oh, guys, we have to... they have the... We are forced to chump here, and I'm gonna stick to the plan. Oh, wait a minute. This is rough because the Enduring Tenacity will come back as an enchantment, which still combos with the Conqueror, right? So yeah, we want to double block here and just chump the Tenacity, keeping our tokens around. Conqueror is going to swing in the air no matter what. Oh, dude, we're in trouble. We're in so much trouble, man. A Hare Apparent. Okay. Right. Conqueror swings in the air. They win the game no matter what next turn. So if we start with card draw, we don't have the boost on the ground. They have 2 blockers. They don't know what's in hand. And second opponent, I am now thinking, was there a better way to play this out? She will have 2 mana. The other Hare Apparent isn't doing anything. Missing out on that Day of Judgment earlier, that would have obviously really come in handy. I think we're dead. I think we are. If we start with the card draw, we could find something, but probably not, because yeah, we'll still have 3 here. We got 12 damage on the board. I guess that's that. I guess we'll do the fun swing. I don't know if there's a way through here, guys, because Tale of Tamiyo, I mean, that's even 3 mana there. We'd only have 3 open. At that point, too, they gained 1 life. That started the loop anyways. That's right, guys. That's right. All they had to do was gain life. They didn't need to just deal damage. It could have been either thing to start the loop. So, hey, good game, opponent. The only thing that would have helped us there would have been the board wipe then, right? We'll let the loop play out. Or, so if we would have played Tale of Tamiyo, and for some reason the 2 cards we milled shared the same thing, then we drew into a board wipe, then we could have played the 4th mana, then played Day of Judgment. That would have been the best thing to do. Okay, that was something to think about, I guess. I don't know if we were going to get through that, because 1 Day of Judgment was already in the grave. That means we only had 2 remaining in the deck list, and then the 2 cards that we milled would have had to magically have not been the 2 Day of Judgments, or at least one of them, right? If that makes any sense. So, yeah. Tale of Tamiyo, best possibility for getting through that time. But we still had a fun swing. And honestly, the deck list performed relatively okay, and we were kind of just looking for a way to bring back the Hare Apparents too, but either way, the opponent had the loop on the board, so we would have needed to see these ways earlier, before they got the loop. I'm going to keep the mana on top. All right, Hare Apparent number 1. It's such a funny thing. I'm sure the opponents are like relieved when they see the Hare Apparent, right? Like, playing against some jank. All right. Could be a counter spell. Could be spot removal. Either way, I'm going to try the Caretaker's Talent. And we'll try the double Hare Apparents next turn since we have our 4th mana. It's a counter spell. Let's go for the swing. Maybe we should have swung first. Maybe they would have removed the Hare Apparent, then maybe the Caretaker's Talent would have landed, right? And here's a moment where, yeah. Okay. A similar concept there too. If we would have swung first, then it was probably going to be the cut down, right? Right? Some well-placed spot removal, and we're not worried about it because it's not exile spot removal. So the main worry here would be if they counter our Dewdrop Cure when it comes time. So again, yeah, we try this before combat, even though that especially only matters if we're up against like white because of Elspeth's Smite and cards like that. But I'm trying to think if there's anything in Dimir colors that also care about attacking creatures. Bro, no way. That doesn't stop all the abilities of all the Hare Apparents, does it? If an ability of an artifact creature or planeswalker is countered this way, that permanent loses all the abilities. Okay. Man, they've really been stopping this ability from happening, huh? They also have a Spectral Sailor, and they dropped the Concede. What else was in their hand? Why? Why Concede? Did they, oh, like, I wonder what else was in their hand. If it was just mana, then maybe. But also, I think that was still going to be a relatively uphill battle, right? Like, against Dimir. Just an onslaught of spot removal and counter spells. And again, we don't really care about the spot removal as long as it doesn't exile. Which there is a lot of exile spot removal, guys. Speaking of Elspeth's Smite. Alright, let's keep the ball rolling. I think in that first game, guys, if the opponent didn't get the infinite loop, I kind of feel like we had a chance, right? We were getting some good setups. And also, you gotta keep your eye on Duress, man. It, like, never misses. We might hide the fact that we have blue in here for no reason. Just because we can. Llanowar Elves. Okay, this Day of Judgment might really come in handy, huh? We'll attempt the Caretaker's talent next turn. Just like we did in the last game. Overlord. Some good ramp, dude. That was turn 2 for them. Terrifying. I probably should play this island before it gets, like, discarded or something crazy, right? We should probably get it onto the board. Okay. Okay, well, this is well, I don't want to speak too soon here, but I feel like this is an Atraxa build. We'll see, we'll see. Yeah, for turn 3, they have 5 mana on this board with the Llanowar Elves. It's gonna be a Renin Realmbreaker. Okay.
If this is my final fight, then
They go plus, actually. They're going for some damage.
my voice
Yeah.
to all
Okay, and they keep the Llanowar Elves untapped, actually. Vigilance, Hexproof, Haste, Day of Judgment isn't terrible. But it's also going to be our only way to hit the Overlord. We just drop a bunch of Hare Apparents for the turn. At least we'll start with card draw. Save the Day of Judgment for once the Overlord is actually a threat, right? Yeah, we probably want to have a little bit of patience. See what the card draw is first. It's going to be some mana. Alright. Go, 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 Hare Apparent, go! It's cool. It's cool. I like it. Also, to my surprise, doesn't feel as janky as I thought it was, but I'm still pretty positive that this deck list is super janky, so even though it doesn't feel as janky. Sunfall opponent. That's brutal, bro. That's brutal. Well, I guess we can't be too surprised, right?
gift.
Liliana doubling season? Holy cow. All right, we realistically, we just don't know what we're up against. They grab the doubling season. Lupinflower for the turn, grab a Hare Apparent, or we just go Surveil, I guess, is also fine. Maybe it is the Lupinflower, though, instead of the Surveil. So we do this. Look at the top 6. Grab a Bunny Rabbit. Should be easy enough. And we play the 4th again. We play the Hare Apparent. And then we have another one in hand, ready to go, that they don't know about. Dude, we're in trouble. We're in big trouble. With the Liliana in the grave and doubling season, I guess it might just be Super Friends. Also, at any point, they can power up a very powerful incubator token. And Realm Breaker, gonna be just taking the 3 here. Don't really want to chump with this Hare Apparent. Even though I guess another Sunfall would be pretty devastating, huh? Well, the Day of Judgment, of course, would be better to hit the Incubator, too. I am a little concerned, though, that the second we start to go wide is the second that the opponent plays another Sunfall. But now they have their Overlord to worry about, though. We'll start with the Surveil this time. I don't think we need the 6th mana, although we do have the class on the board, which could get a little expensive, but I don't think we need that. Plus, if we're playing Archaeologist for the turn, that would have been milled away anyways. It's better just to see more off the Archaeologist regardless, right? And Day of Judgment, we're going to get very greedy with it, guys. Tale of Tamiyo, another Caretaker's talent. Let's go for... Let's go for the Tale of Tamiyo this time. A second Caretaker's talent, of course, would be great, but... Alright, then we'll get the card draw on the Hare Apparent, which we could have started with before the Archaeologist, because maybe we found another Hare Apparent, too. I guess that also would have worked. Another Archaeologist, actually. Alright, no swings. Hopefully just chump blocks for days here. Go ahead, sacrifice the Fabled Passage, which they would have done on the stack anyways of the Day of Judgment. Yeah, so we really only would have been hitting the Overlord. I actually overlooked that because I wasn't even thinking that this was a Fabled Passage. So it was good that we held off that turn for sure. Innkeeper's Talent. Oh, buddy. Oh, buddy, they're going for the level up on it too. And as far as chump blocks go, I'm pretty sure we stick to chump blocking with the Hare Apparent because we don't mind getting those into the grave. Which we actually don't have any in the grave right now because of that Sunfall exiling 3 of them. They go ahead, power up a forest.
My voice beckons to all worlds.
Gonna be a Johnny. Okay. Coming in with 8, guys. Oh, crap. Okay, they actually go... They go flying double strike onto the Overlord. Wait, that's just game, dude. Wait a second. That's brutal. Oh, I actually really liked the opponent's deck list there. First of all, the Ajani came in with 8 loyalty counters on it, so they had the -8. X22 white cat creature tokens where X is your life total. And they're at 18. So that would have been something, I guess. But no, since they had lethal on the board, it was just -3, flying, double strike, onto an Overlord. Then the Innkeeper's Talent, of course, plugging 2 counters onto the Overlord thanks to the doubling season. They didn't need the level 3 on the Innkeeper's Talent. There's going to be 16 total damage. And it didn't need to be We were at 14, right? So it didn't even need the doubling season. Interesting deck list opponent. That Sunfall was brutal, man. But what I mean, there's not going to be a single moment where Sunfall isn't brutal, especially against this deck list in particular, guys. So 25 minutes in, while I have you here in the middle of the video, make sure you check out that description where we got that Discord link as well as that Patreon link too. If you're interested in joining either of those up or supporting the channel that way, then also if you like the video, make sure you actually drop it a like. And if you enjoy the channel, then consider subscribing as well, because it really does help out the channel. All right, opponent goes first. We have a Hare Apparent. We have our Day of Judgment when it comes time. Archaeologist cannot be played yet, but do we care right now? Opponent goes first is the big thing here. I think we should mulligan. I think we can find a better hand. There's the Raise the Past finally. So we'll keep this, and I really don't want to send the Tale of Tamiyo, but I like everything else in the hand more. So we should send it. Let's see what that Surveil is on the archive for turn 1. All right, another Hare Apparent. Yeah, I'd say since we were on the draw, the mulligan was definitely worth it. We were going to be drawn into something. Another Raise the Past. I think we just keep it, I think it's okay to have multiple of them. We're going to have a few turns in a row at 2 mana where we're just playing Hare Apparent. Actually, that's not necessarily true, because underneath this Raise the Past could be land. Well, even so, at 3 mana, it's just going to be another Hare Apparent, so... Oh, crap, guys. Oh, crap. We're going to get burnt away very, very fast. Let's see if we can keep a chump blocker for the Lava Runner. Against Boros Burn, though, it doesn't really matter if you have too many chump blockers. They do go for a Lightning Strike on the Hare Apparent, though. They want to keep the creature around. Okay, Archaeologist blocks a little better on the ground, and since we don't have another Hare Apparent anyways... I think we just, we do this because we're also setting up for the Raise the Past, since we have that in hand. Wow. Probably Dewdrop Cure, since we're 1 mana closer to that. Hopefully, losing that land isn't a problem. Hopefully we find some mana. Boros Charm. Yikes. Couple more of those. It's another Day of Judgment, guys. Well, we almost have all of our top end out of the build, guys. We only have 1 more Raise the Past in the build, and that's our entire top end. We need some mana. Okay, hopefully it's not more burn. They do pass it back. We find some mana. Oh, great news, guys. However, not a lot of setup in the grave. We definitely need to get rid of these creatures on the board. And more mana off the top. They pass it back. Okay, that's interesting. Maybe we can start swinging, see what they do to these Hare Apparents and everything, right? I guess we'd want to play this beforehand, because there's a possibility that they decide to block, so we want as many 1/1s on the board as possible. Let's see what they do with our 2/2s. They might finally start. Yeah, there you go. Okay. Okay. Some more burn from the opponent's hand. Down to 6. We could easily die this turn just from burn. The Lava Runner. We don't find that mana. Start with Archaeologist, I guess. Could still go Dewdrop Cure, bring the Hare Apparent back. Or we could start with the swing on the Hare Apparents, I guess, right? 1, 2, 3. Maybe start getting a clock going here. We're the ones realistically on the clock, though. Now, we could easily die here. All right, so Archaeologist. Oh no, it was a mana. Well, there's another one though. Dewdrop Cure can bring back both of these. However, we have to survive the turn first. I'd say if we survive the turn, we got pretty lucky so far this game. How do you guys feel about that? They've only seen 2 mana. We've been pretty close. Like, once you're at 8, you're really, really sweating against Boros Burn. I feel like it's really easy for them to push through. They pass it back, guys. Wow. Caretaker's Talent. I can't believe we saw 5 out of the 6 top-end cards, and we can't get that 4th, but we did mill 3 lands this game, too, from the Archaeologist. That's all very noteworthy, guys. So I suppose, and we don't want to give them draw on the Dewdrop Cure. Also, they know we have this, too, so... Full swing, I guess. Yeah, we have to. Every single turn that passes by, they're one step closer, and I know it. Actually, it could be Lightning Strike now at the end of our turn, and then Lightning Strike on their turn too, or a Boros Charm, or a couple Burst Lightning, or anything else in their build, right? Anything outside of creatures, as all we're doing right now is having chump blockers. They go swing with everything, see where they block. Technically, it's okay if they block the 1/1s because we just have to push through. Because if they block the 1/1s, then it's 2/2s that are actually getting through, and that's actually very important. As we gotta win next turn. Of course, it'd be preferable to magically win this turn, but... Alright, yep, so they're going down to 3, so it's like I said. The 1/1s are distracting them. So we're getting maximum damage pushed through. Down to 3, guys. Dewdrop Cure. Grab a couple. Hare Apparents, don't let them draw. This is actually pretty sick, man. It really, really is. I still think we could easily die here, but for what it is, honestly, against like a normal mono red build that wasn't burn, we'd be in a much better position, right? Because then we realistically just need a bunch of chump blockers. Okay, Burst Lightning down to 4. Let's see it, opponent. Let's see it, buddy. Get the GGs ready. Swift Spear. Guys, that's not enough. Holy cow, we got lucky. We got lucky, period, man. What on earth? I'll take it. Victories are hard to come by sometimes, and victories for janky deck lists, they feel great. But I guess at the same time too, they feel better if we get the victory without getting lucky. The deck list did the thing though. Maybe I'm being too hard on the deck, and maybe, you know, I guess it depends how the opponent put their burn list together too. It could come down to that. They found a lot of creatures and not enough of their just go to face. No blue source again, guys. That could be concerning. But triple Hare Apparent. Opponent goes first. Did we go first today, guys? I'm blanking right now. I'm not really sure. I'm going to drop the mulligan. I think... Never mind. I changed my mind. We don't need the Archaeologist. Worst case scenario is we just top deck a bunch of blue cards, but realistically, we're just splashing blue in here for Archaeologist and the Tamiyo. Tale of Tamiyo. So, I think we're fine. And pretty much any mana off the top, even if it's just another planes, seeing a 4th is terrific because a third of the deck are these Hare Apparents. So, just spamming these onto the board. You think we're up against more burn? Novice Inspector. Okay, not more burn. Well, maybe. Guess it could be a different version of it. Day of Judgment might come in handy if this is a Boros Go Wide. Seer, Slicer, Goblin. I'm thinking that this is going to be a Boros Go Wide, guys. We'll take any blocks that they offer, as we do plan on wiping the board as soon as we see our 4th mana. Oh, you know what else in that last game? Like I was saying, wow, we got lucky and stuff, but at the same time, we had some pretty unlucky draws too, right? Seeing all of our top end was crazy, or close to all of it. Swing, swing. They actually don't offer a trade, and they're going to be getting another goblin here. So we're going to need our 4th mana on 4. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. 4th mana on 4, no matter what here. Or we're going to die. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. At least we're blocking a little wide. Come on. Come on, mana off the top. Actually, if we don't die here, right? Keep the Seer Slicer back. We should actually just block wide. Or see what they do with this 2 open mana. So chump, trade, still have a Hare Apparent. Wait, guys. Guys. That was probably a bad call. First of all, we saw the mana. That's good. Second of all, I was still in the thought process of getting the Hare Apparents in the grave is not terrible. But if we didn't see the 4th, it would have been much, much better to block the Hare Apparents where it wasn't going to die and chump with the 1/1 into the Knight Errant. That could have been very dangerous, man. Let's see what they do. They take the 2 here. Yeah, if we missed the mana, we would have wanted both of our Hare Apparents on the board for when we play our 3rd one. That way we get even more blockers going wide. I wonder if they're thinking about... They go for the double block. Makes our Day of Judgment a little worse, but that was the plan anyways. They dropped the GGs for one or the other. Maybe they knew the board wipe was coming, or maybe they thought they were winning that turn. I'm not really sure. Drop a Emodane's Recruiter. It's still anyone's game. Easily. Raise the Past is not going to be terrible. But first we just get the Hare Apparents onto the board. I'm going to go for the draw and the clue, which is actually great, and they have Resolute Reinforcements for their turn too. Caretaker's Talent. Okay, that's probably the play over anything else here, as we want to copy the 1/1, get some card draw. Maybe we find a blue source. Yeah, since it wasn't removal for the 1/1 or anything, it's definitely just going to be the Resolute Reinforcements for the turn, probably, right? Being at 11, I think we can successfully swing with the 2/2s now. Resolute Reinforcements, any blocks, totally fine. Also getting 4 through, totally fine. Warden of the Inner Sky. Maybe we wanted to be the ones to save the blocks. Oh. Woohoo! Yeah, we're the ones who wanted to save the blocks, I would say. Let's see, we could take 8, trade into these 2. Geez, man. Down to 3? Is that really what we want to do? Got to clean up their board somewhere in case they play a 3rd Emodane's Recruiter. Raise the Past is actually doing the exact same thing as just playing out the other Hare Apparents. So we want to just play out the Hare Apparents, keep all of our blockers. We do find more mana here. That's okay. If it was a blue source, I don't even think we'd consider the Archaeologist. Right, so we actually go no blocks this time, right? Now that we're down to 3. Hopefully they're not rocking the Boros Charm as well. Okay, they pass it back. Another Hare Apparent, guys. They're at 14. I think we're forcing blocks if we go upgrade on the talent. However, if we play the Hare Apparent first, we do draw. And then maybe we see a 4th and then we can boost then anyways. I'd say unlikely. Let's go for the boost. We still full swing. 1, 2, 3. It's a full swing, right? Right? Maybe? Forcing blocks? Math is for blockers turn? Oh, Resolute Reinforcements. They got one card remaining. So chump 2 of them. 9 there, and then we have another 8 on the other side. They go trade into it. We're gonna die. We're gonna die. That's only 11 going through. Oh no, I think it would be so easy for them to boost that recruiter. Math was for Blocker's turn, guys, and I think we just died because of it. No, third Immodane's recruiter. Good game, opponent. That's my fault, dude. 100%. Wow. Huh. You know, the deck list is kind of performing. Man, I'm kind of split. First of all, we had a lot of decisions to make there. Second of all, there was a turn before that turn where we decided to block into a couple of their creatures. I think that was still... I mean trade into a couple of their creatures. I think that was still the preferable line of play. Because getting those creatures off the board before a third Immodane recruiter actually landed was going to be kind of important. We struggled to actually get more Hare Apparents into the graveyard. If we did, then maybe we could have went a little bit wider. So here was a turn too where I decided math is for blockers. And I think it would have worked out if they missed the Resolute Reinforcements in hand. Having 2 extra chumps was just so good for them. But they had mana open. And they had a couple cards in hand. Is a card that I should have known to actually play around there as well. So sure, math is for Blocker's turn, but I should have known there was probably going to be more blockers on that board, or something else that could have also done us in. Something else too, if I would have risked the Hare Apparent onto the board, we would have had, what, 4 more 1/1 tokens that all could have blocked. Maybe we did see the 4th. We could have still powered up the Caretaker's talent. One of those things, man, where I really, really wish we could see the top card of the deck. So that way we can consider what was actually the best path. Without knowing the best path going into it, it'd just be nice to see after the fact. Whew, lots to say at the end of that game, man. That one was a little disappointing because of how I played it out. I apologize, guys. Opponent goes first again. Right. Let's keep this. This is actually a great hand. We actually see the blue mana too, which is kind of important. Even though we're splashing blue in here, we have a lot of blue sources over in the mana base. We have 2 normal islands and then 10 dual lands. So 12 total blue sources in the mana base, right? I believe so. I guess I'm not 100% certain right now. Start with the Surveil. And speaking of blue sources, actually, I'm going to keep the 4th on top. Getting to 4 mana in this deck list feels like it's kind of important, right? Okay. Get the Verge down and get the ball rolling with the Hare Apparents, and then a turn 3 Caretaker's talent. So the Loner here can't be blocked by Glimmers. It has Survival. At the beginning of your second main phase, if it's tapped, you may search your library for a card, put it into your graveyard, then shuffle. No. I take that trade all day, right? And then we actually have the ball rolling with Hare Apparents in the graveyard. So, of course, we know that that could come in handy. Overlord, let's see what they get into their grave. Nice. Okay. Oh, they do get to grab the Loner back, though, which could be pretty bad. All right, Caretaker's talent for the turn, and then turn 4, 2 Hare Apparent should be pretty darn good. Yeah, the Loner in here to actually grab their big ol' Valgavoth, slap it into the graveyard, and then reanimate it when it comes time. Liliana. One of our mana, or one of our lands is fine. Everything else in hand is pretty important right now, I would say. We don't want to send an Apparent just for bringing it back later on, right? We want to be able to draw on the Caretaker's talent next turn. So 4th mana comes down. Hare Apparent. Draw a card. Hare Apparent, okay. What did they end up discarding to the Liliana? They actually just end up discarding the Cynical Loner that they brought back with the Overlord. Okay, so far so good. They're missing. See what their plus on their Liliana is going to be this time, though. See what they end up discarding here. And we might want to consider keeping the Archaeologist around. Doubling down on, well... Yeah, never mind. Never mind. We still have double Hare Apparents next turn. Yeah, Archaeologist could be decent, I guess, but... Overlord, crap, they're getting blockers for this Liliana now, too. More mana off the top. With more mana off the top, we can actually start with the copy, see what we draw. Be like a Dewdrop Cure or something. Archaeologist. So before combat, we're full swinging at that Liliana, guys. We're only going to hit it for one. But the goal here then, well, that might not be the best bet, huh? I guess at that point, we'd want to keep our bunny rabbits around. So that way we can boost them next turn with this. We'll see what they end up doing. Because block into the Apparent, maybe Archaeologist helps us find one of our raises. We're still getting one through to the Liliana, getting their chump blockers off the board for next turn, where we're going to try to boost our token board state with level 3 of the Caretaker's talent. It's pretty cool, man. It is. Cruelty. See where they start here. They go search. They lose 3 down to 17. Actually, guys, Liliana's plus or minus, it doesn't really matter here. Since they had to search with the Cruelty, I think that might be game. I can't think of anything that they can do for 0 mana. They go plus for the discard. So they finally get their Velgavoth into the grave. Oh, they actually grab a Rite of the Moth into the grave. Either way, we go Caretaker's Talent boost. And then full swing at the opponent's face. Wow. Okay. So there's a game too. Maybe we got a little lucky where they actually missed a lot of their top end to the point where they actually had to go searching for it with the Cruelty's second phase there. If they already had Velgavoth in the grave, they would have had a block. It's, what, a 9/9 lifelink? So they'd actually be alive right now because they're at -8. They would have blocked one of the 3/3s. They would have gained 9 as well. So they'd be at, what, 4? If they found a Velgavoth already earlier and then reanimated it with the bottom ability on the Cruelty. Put a creature card from a graveyard onto the battlefield. We didn't really have that many great reanimation targets. We did end up getting 3 Hare Apparents into the graveyard that game, though, which is definitely noteworthy. Man, cool. Yeah. Let's go over this deck list again. Let's go check it out. I'm standing by it, guys. I'm pretty positive this is going to be very, very janky. But you know what? It kind of surprised me a little bit too, and it gave us more decisions than I thought. I thought I could go into this one and not have to think too much. But we had a lot of decisions, and I'm still looking at that Boros game like, man, we definitely could have won that one, right? Had I just made a little bit better decisions throughout the entire game there against that Boros Go Wide, right? And against Boros Go Wide, I guess overall, it's a decent matchup, isn't it? Because we are also kind of going wide well, where we got the board wipes in here, and we don't mind if our wide board state gets wiped, where they definitely do. When our board state gets wiped, we can raise the past or drop a Dewdrop Cure, which kind of sort of hit in the deck list. I could see going up some of those, but we really don't want to drop like any of the Caretaker's talent because that's kind of essential too. Where we saw there, we actually got to pull off that win condition, went pretty wide with our rabbit tokens, and then boosted them all with level 3. It's beautiful stuff, actually. Tale of Tamiyo. Man, I really wanted to see this do something today, huh? But I think if we're going up a Raise the Past, then it would probably be dropping a Tale of Tamiyo, going up the Raise the Past, which I actually don't have the fourth one, but I do think the fourth one would be worth it in here. That being said, I'm actually not going to change it. We are going to keep the deck list exactly as it is right now. 23 total mana, totally fine. You want to see your 4th on 4 a lot, and I'd say 23 is about where you want it because you also don't want to flood too much. 24, there could be an argument for 24 because, again, yeah, it can get a little mana hungry when you are trying to get a multiple Hare Apparents onto the board or just get to your 4th mana. I'm still a little taken aback by that one game where we saw so much of our top end guys. At that point, I wouldn't have been surprised to see the last Raise the Past from the deck list, right? And then we just drew our entire top end, which would have been pretty unlucky, but we ended up winning that game anyways, right? So the mana base with the Surveil lands makes a lot of sense. There are actually going to be moments where you see a Hare Apparent on top of the deck list and you just don't mind sending it to the grave, and then that'll be just more ETBs when it comes time to Raise the Past and whatnot too. Since we are splashing blue in here, there could be some important things that we could do with the blue mana that I just decided not to do, right? We're really just milling with Archaeologist and stuff, and milling with the Tale of Tamiyo too, but we just didn't get to see this, unfortunately. There's other important things that blue can do, like counter spells, for example. Is that something that this deck list is trying to do? No, probably not. But that is something to consider at the very least. Holding open counter spells, I literally can't imagine it because everything else in here is sorcery speed, right? But, you know, I guess there could be some... If Spell Pierce was still in Standard, maybe Spell Pierce, but there's going to be games too. We saw that today, where you actually just only see white sources in your opening hand, and you have to make that decision. Is my hand playable with only white sources since we're only splashing the blue? And I think a lot of the time, it is just going to be yes, it is playable, unless you have like 3 Archaeologists in your opening hand. And guys, when you do have like 3 Archaeologists in your opening hand, I don't think that's bad at all. If you go turn 2 Archaeologist, turn 3 Archaeologist, you're milling, you milled 6 cards total, and if you accidentally mill any of your Raise the Past or Dewdrop Cures, you're bringing them back with that ability anyways, and then all while plugging the deck list full of Hare Apparents. So actually, if we could play a couple more Archaeologists, I think we would, and that's probably where Picklock Prankster comes into play. Maybe the Tale of Tamiyo is a little too slow for what the deck list is doing, and just a couple Picklock Prankster can be what we play instead. So you mill 4 cards, then you put an instant sorcery or fairy card from among them into your hand. And so if you end up milling a Prankster, it's a fairy, right? So you can bring that back. So Day of Judgment, Raise the Past, and Dewdrop Cure. However, Prankster cannot bring back Caretaker's Talent, which is an enchantment. Whereas the Archaeologist can bring that back because it's just non-creature, non-land. Definitely something to consider. Great budget trade out. If you don't have the Tale of Tamiyo, then definitely don't craft it. Speaking of crafting, guys, put the deck list on the do not craft list. However, that's because, well, 1, it's going to be pretty janky, but 2, just don't craft anything. First couple weeks of a new set, no one knows where the meta's going to settle. I think that if you're crafting up jank, then you know what you're getting yourself into anyways. But realistically, there could be a pretty budget-friendly version of this, right? Especially since Hare Apparent, you just need 4 commons, and then you can just play as many of them as you want. Then the Archaeologist is also common. If you're trading out Tale of Tamiyo for the couple Picklock Pranksters, there you go. Picklock Pranksters, what? Uncommon. Dewdrop Cure, uncommon. Okay. Day of Judgment can be pretty much any 4-drop Destroy All card. Of course, you want it to destroy, not exile, right? How do they word it? Is it Destroy All? Yes. So Split Up could be something to consider if you already have those in your list. No Witnesses. How often are you going to be investigating for yourself rather than your opponent? I think that just even having the chance of investigating for the opponent, that's one of the reasons why we're rocking Day of Judgment instead of No Witnesses. However, there's probably going to be some games where you investigate Probably not worth it, though. I think if you got the Day of Judgment, you just want to play the Day of Judgment. But maybe you already have a couple witnesses too, so that those are like easy trade outs. And then there's some top end Destroy All as well. Starfall Invocation, if we had more powerful ETBs, that could be interesting. Gifting a card and like bringing back an Archaeologist or something, but gifting a card is pretty dangerous. The opponent's drawing cards is pretty dangerous. Expel the Interlopers. Yeah, so if you don't have Day of Judgment, which is a rare, then you could totally go up some different Destroy All board wipes if you have them. And then Raise the Past is pretty important too, and that happens to be a rare. And then the mana base, don't even get me started. However, mana bases can be played in other deck lists too. So, you know, Verge is rare, Archive is rare, Anchorage, and Fountainport. Fountainport has been a pretty darn good land so far, right? In the right build. And I think Fountainport totally works well in here too, since you can generate the fishies, which works well with Caretaker's talent, as we know well. But also, I wouldn't be surprised if there's some games where we actually generate a treasure token too, depending on what our mana is looking like on the board. And if we have a Caretaker's talent too, maybe we're drawing treasure token ramp to get us into like 6 mana to drop triple Hare Apparent out of our hand next turn or something. Could totally see that being a line of play. Think also too, just being more card draw. So literally every ability on here I just went over to. Just more card draw is very important too, since the only card draw we have packed in right now is the Caretaker's talent, which you still need to actually have tokens on the board for it as well. So both of our card draw options, you need to have tokens. So maybe more early tokens could be good too. Something else to consider that wasn't in the honorable mentions: Hinterland Sanctifier. 1 mana, 1/2. Whenever another creature you control enters, you gain 1 life. This could be really good if you are seeing a lot of that Boros burn. Just any amount of extra life gain. So what are you dropping to add these though, you know? Like, are you adding 2 of these? If so, are you going down to 22 mana? Then drop a Tale of Tamiyo? Maybe, but then if you only see 2, you're not seeing them too often. If you are seeing a lot of that Boros burn, you want to see them way more often. So actually all 4 I could see. Dropping a couple Hare Apparents could also be detrimental. I feel like 20 was kind of right where we want it, huh? All right, guys, enough rambling. We're almost an hour into the video. Let me know what you thought of the deck list down in the comments. It's kind of neat. I feel like maybe I was too hard on it a little bit, and I also feel like I could have played those matches out better too. So that's how I feel. Maybe it's a little less janky than I'm thinking, but I'm pretty sure it's still going to be pretty darn janky. And that being said, if I would have played out a couple of those games a little better, I think it would have won even more today, which is kind of surprising to me. So yeah. All right, guys. Hey, if you made it this far into the video, for real, y'all are champions. I super duper appreciate you, and I will see you in the next video.